Welcome, human, to This Is Earthlings.
Thank you for joining me today, Daniel.
Round two.
Well, no, round one for everybody
Yes.
here. But and it's actually such a cool opportunity that we did get to sit down for a second time. You know,
Yes.
everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
And we're both big believers of that, and that's actually why I think we were brought together. Is this
Absolutely.
deep, intuitive, kind of spiritual connection that we're both really exploring in our lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
And so tell me a little bit about what is really like guiding you these days, because I know you've mentioned to me before we started, you're really on this journey of self-exploration and allowing the universe to sort of lead you there, but you're taking actionable steps at the same time.
Yes.
Every step of the way. So you just launched a really cool podcast called the Moody
Gemini podcast.
Who's you are
I'm the moodiest.
But there again, you know yourself. For you to be so open.
I think to get back to what you were saying about this self-exploration, it's like I know that who I am. I've always known who I am. There's been so many times where I've gotten kind of in the way of myself, and like I'm a very much a people person, so when I surround myself with certain people, I'm an empath, so I latch onto their energy. I latch onto, if they're going through something, I want to be so involved that I take myself out of it. And again, it goes into like the whole astrology thing of like who I am. I'm a Gemini. We're very adaptable. I can adapt like 100%. Yeah. But then I found myself getting lost in the adaptation.
Right.
Yeah. So it's kind of, I got to a place where I was on the spectrum this side, and then I went completely left field and was like, I'm not doing that. Cut people off, don't talk to them, don't do this. And then it was like, that's good for some things, but like, where's the gray area here?
Yeah.
Where's the, okay, you can do A, but like B is not gonna work if you keep doing what you're doing with A.
So you really recognize for yourself, there is no like, you don't just choose a side of existence.
Very black and white, yeah.
Black and
I
white.
mean, obviously like, on a 3D world level, it's easier that way.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people have such a hard time with even connecting with spirituality, because it's so nuanced. It's so like,
and they think it has to be a certain way.
Yeah.
Right? Like
it has to be a certain way, but like it's gonna be whatever you create it and believe it as.
That's exactly it. So
it's like,
really
but it's like, what do you mean? I'm even still at that stage where I'm like, I believe that, but when it comes down to like my day to day, I'm just like, where's my knowledge kicking in? Because obviously I think it goes back to just being human at the end of the day and being like, yeah, like I can know all these things, but I'm still gonna wake up and feel the emotion of whatever, feeling happy, sad. It's like you gotta find that balance, and I think that's the hard part.
Right. And it's kind of like we have to like accept what it is that we're feeling in that moment, and not deny and say like, oh, well, I don't want to feel the sadness or no, it's all like part of the experience.
Yeah.
And I think it's so true what you're saying though. We were kind of schooled in a way to be like, okay, X, Y, and Z, you learn the facts, you get the job, you stick it out with that job and the career, and like this is your identity.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm even realizing for myself, and maybe tell me if this is speaking to you too, it's this like deschooling idea. Really, our true path in life, whether it's our career or whatever, actually stems from like what our soul desires.
Yeah.
Ultimately, right? And I think this is maybe the place where you're at right now. It feels like this like shaky ground because you're right on the brink of like stepping into that and trusting that more.
Yeah.
Because I've been there myself too, and it's like you're like, well, how can I just like let go of control and.
Yeah, I think that's the part. It's the control part, because.
Yeah.
I don't want to say we're taught, but it's just like around us. Like, the first thing I think about is like my parents. Like, I remember when I was dancing, and then, I stopped dancing after grade 11, and they're like, hey, what's your like plan B? It was just like, they were saying that, but I was able to feel them not knowing either.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to figure it out still.
Exactly.
Which is even harder. I'm having a hard time myself. Imagine being a parent and having these kids, Like my parents, I'm not to take away from them, but they're not at the level that you're at with spirituality and all that stuff. Maybe they are a little bit, but not the way that you're fully exploring it and like putting it into your life. So like it's a harder thing to do.
Especially when you're the child and you're like kind of surpassing the parents in that.
But like not people might take surpassing as like.
No, but you know what? That's okay. What I mean? But that's okay, I think, to feel that. If that feels uncomfortable, I think it's an okay feeling.
I don't feel that. I'm just saying people.
I know, even for those people though.
Yeah.
It's an okay feeling to feel uncomfortable in being like, oh, I'm more advanced than my parents are.
Yeah.
And then to go into it once you do have your own children, go like, whoa, my child is also going to surpass me in some ways, and I can already see it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of that, like, learning, and it actually gives our own, like, soul and our own experience.
Yes.
I don't know, even more, like.
It's funny that you say that though, because what we talked about, the gray area, the gray area of life is spirituality and then just the human experience. So yes, spirituality, but also the human experience of that. My parents are both the youngest child.
Okay.
I'm the oldest child. My brother's the youngest child.
Right, the energy.
The energy's different. Like it's so funny. Like I had a girl on my podcast and we were talking about that. She's like, "You're right."
Yeah.
She's like, "When I went on family vacations, I was planning everything." Her dad was I think a only child. Her mom was like the middle or something.
Yeah.
It's taking that knowledge of being like, yes, you know, I understand my energy, but also what's happening here on Earth.
Totally.
Like I don't know, are you an older child or?
I am, I'm the oldest.
Yeah, so it's just a different experience. We're the first to break in the family and be like, no, I'm going out like this, I'm wearing this, you know. It's like little things like, oh, I got my cell phone when I was in grade 8 and my brother got his cell phone when he was in grade 6. It's like, what, you know what I mean? Like little stuff that.
Yeah.
He's the only reason why he got that is because I broke him in, you know.
Exactly.
So it's just taking that, again, that balance of spirituality, but also what's happening here. And I think that's where...
Do you think, what you're describing, I think, is like embodiment?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And do you feel like your dance experience from these many years has kind of brought you to a deeper place or an easier way to access that embodiment? Would you say?
The only thing I think about when you say embodiment is like spatial awareness.
Okay.
Because when we're dancing, like I've talked about this before, like when I dance, I didn't realize how much energy I was releasing. You know, I wasn't going to dance because I had a bad day. You know, like yes, you feel better, blah blah blah, and I like doing that, but it wasn't that. It was my brain was like, maybe subconsciously, maybe, but like the programming was I have to go to dance. I gotta do this and that. So it wasn't like that for me.
Yeah.
It was just more so about like I like to dance. Like I was a kid in the diaper on the couch. Down, you know, so like even that then my parents would just throw me in dance. It's like that's just been my world. So I guess embodiment, honestly, I think is with meeting people. And when I say meeting people, I mean like relationships, like love connections. That's where I have found myself like upgrading, I would say, spiritually.
Okay, through the connection.
That's where I'm like a physical touch and quality time kind of guy, but like yes, dance has given me that spatial awareness, but like when I have someone that can kind of reflect it back to me in a wholesome way, it's like, okay, and then I grow. You know?
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Because I'm finding that that's the piece that a lot of people are kind of like, well, I want to reach like that deeper spirituality. And I think when we tap into what to me embodiment, like, to just understand that our human experience here, our physicality, really is a powerful tool. So all these modalities that people are speaking about, like, breath work these days, and even yoga or things that you can also do in the physical, dance being that, I think it truly then becomes this like connection point. Even
everything
grounding, everything
is a manifestation of energy and thought. And it's like, I can't find any other words to explain that I don't want to say dumb it down to somebody watching this, but like just... but this is the thing people don't get. Like some people will say that and then they understand it. Like I don't get it sometimes too. It's like it's normal to be like, I get that, but also I'm like, what the fuck? Like what do you mean it's a manifestation? You know what I mean?
You get it, but then to like live it, it takes like time.
Your soul is like finally you're coming up here, and then your body's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
You have to go to work tomorrow. Stop it.
It's like
Yeah.
a training in patience.
Yes.
To be patient through that whole experience.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And it's the same for all of us.
Yes.
We all go through it the same way. And
it's the same, but it's different.
it's the same, but it's different because each one of us is different.
Yeah.
Right? Like
And that's the hard part.
Yeah, so we can kind of help each other, but it comes down to being a solo journey.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like we can't handhold one another.
I would love to handhold somebody, but I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm like, oh my god, like I can't do this. No. Like I actually can't do it for myself because how can I handhold somebody? Because again, I think that goes into the whole ego thing. Because I'm handholding someone being like, oh, I can help them, I can do this, and then you're taking charge. You know best.
Yeah.
And it's like, I actually don't know best. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So that's another hard part. The hand holding. Like you don't have to hand hold. Obviously, like people have their natural instinct to do that or not. I do have that instinct.
Yeah.
But now it's like finding the control and the balance of being like, oh, I want a hand hold. I'm like, this person needs to fall on their face.
Yeah.
This person needs to not get this side of me.
Yeah.
And then I keep saying ego, but like goes back to ego being like, oh my god, like what am I being presented as to this person? You know, so it's like,
is it actually disempowering them by being this
it's
crutch for
disempowering
them?
me because I'm like, what am I doing?
And you at the same time. I know, and that's a big realization because that hit me too pretty hard. I think probably this past year.
Yeah.
To be like, I always wanted to give much like you did, and be like, and then I recognized that like their experience is different from my experience.
Yes.
So we can't.
Also, what are you giving for?
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, I'm a nice person, but then I realized some of the things I was doing, I was trying to get something out of it. Not in a, I don't want to say like narcissistic kind of way, because I'm not like that. It's just like, if someone's like, they need a ride or something, oh, I'm going to do this for them, they can help me all the time. Like, it's just, I want that mutual ground, so I do that first. It's like, I can do that, but I can't lead with that, because then the expectation is...
Because you're already expecting something in the future or something.
And it's like, I'm expecting that because I know I'm just ready to give it to them all the time. And it's like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Why am I giving it to them? Why aren't they giving it back to me?
And maybe that energy is actually meant to be given to yourself.
Yes.
Ultimately. That's what I recognize too. We're in the same boat.
Yeah. And everyone's reflections of who we are, which is another weird concept.
Yeah. It is, but it isn't. Let's talk about that.
Like, I think the best thing the easiest way for me to describe that, it's like, when we talked about on my podcast how motherhood has changed you in so many ways and it reflects back to who you are.
Yeah.
So my version of that obviously is with my mom. Like I can see things that she does and I'm like, I don't like that, but I'm like, oh fuck, I do that too. Yeah. Just my view's different on how I would move forward with it.
Yeah.
So it's like little things like that where I'm like, okay. And then it maybe if there's a heated moment where I'm just like, I can't do that, like you're annoying, like leave me alone. It's just like I can still feel that way, but like to go to the next step of vocalizing that and like being angry, carrying it on through my day, it doesn't get there because I'm like, she's kind of reflecting back to me what I'm and who I am in a way. So not to a certain extent, but like there's an essence there where it's like, oh, I can see myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally relate with that too. I used to have that with my mom, especially if you're in close proximity the more often you are, the more these things kind of like come up. But I think what you're describing is like just a deeper sense of also self-awareness, like how you're like seeing it from the outside, you can stop yourself from going further. And I think this is that important bit that we don't have to, it's another way of like energy transfer. So like you're harnessing, you're keeping more of that energy to yourself rather than constantly releasing it, right? Like onto others, onto the just the space. And therefore it's like fueling you more, which is really neat. I think,
you know what, I kind of want to get into a nuanced way of looking at this because I feel like this has really helped me.
Yeah.
Do you believe in past lives?
I do.
Okay, so what I've been learning and understanding is that we live multiple past lives.
Okay, yeah.
So we're reincarnated and we all have a soul journey lesson. Me and you have met in a past life. Yeah. I'm going to go ask my astrologer after this who you were, but we all have a certain relationship that we had in our past, whether it be something that was like big or small, like maybe I just
walked by.
Yeah, my mom was my mom actually, I found out.
Really? Like
Yeah.
in a different life?
My past life, my parents and my brother were my parents and my brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So anyways, going to the past life thing, since we live multiple lives, we get experiences and we live through certain things. So when you experience somebody and like, the best way I can describe it is that when I meet somebody and they act a certain way that I don't like, I was like that in one of my past lives.
That's exactly, I've heard
And
that too.
when I see that, that's my opportunity to forgive myself for being that in a past life and then letting go. It's really dimensional, and I think again, like if you're, I'm just learning, so like that's a lot to take in. Like, what do you mean past life? What do you, like, you know what I mean? So like getting into that was just like, oh, okay, that makes sense, because like, you know, I had like loved my friends, but like there were certain things they were doing, I'm like, I don't like that. And then like when I was talking to someone about it, she's like, that's just who you were in a past life. It's either you learn to, you recognize that you've done that and you move on, or what? And it's like,
or the cycle
you have the option, but like for where I'm at, that's the only option I want to do. Be like, okay. And it's like,
not
gets you out of your
easy.
human, gets you in your spiritual, but also just helps you grow, because it's just like, it makes sense to me, you know. And like, and just the experience of like whatever that you're going through and not liking something or seeing something that's like, oh, I don't like that, oh, that person's mean. It's just like,
yeah. And not just sitting with it, like actually doing something about it, like,
yeah.
right?
And the only way, not the only way, the different ways that you can look at it and know that what I'm saying has some sort of merit to it is kind of just like when we go back to the Bible and they talk about when you're born, you have all these sins. That's what they're talking about. You know, it's just like everything is correlated in a certain way, but it's expressed differently. So like the Bible says that, and then I'm trying to think about another concept that I'm forgetting. But you know what I mean? It's just like,
totally.
it's, the truth is there. It's just how do you
interpret it?
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's a very clear way that you just described that. Because I think also like there's no like spontaneous, like, I don't know, what are they called? Like synchronicities. Like they're not just random. Synchronicities are occurring because you are calling those things into your life. And maybe you're ready for that next level of like recognition of those signs, spiritual signs, whatever it is, right? Like numerology. You said you always number 3. Well, the number 3 is telling you something. Maybe if you saw 3 out there on a license plate or whatever, 333, to you go, whoa, like there'd be a feeling associated with it, right?
Yeah.
And like those signs for me, I think are like just really cool opportunities.
Yeah.
To in our 3D body, in our 3D experience, to witness this otherworldly reality that we can call
something outside of yourself.
Something outside yourself, yeah.
Sometimes.
So like, let's talk about friends. You mentioned friends and
Yeah.
like just community and stuff, because that's such a big aspect. Like even though we're all in our individual journeys, when we come together in community or with people that really are understanding of the experience we're on, right? Like maybe they're in the same trajectory, or they're just finding meaning in it. Then it like amplifies and allows us to grow that much quicker. Like what you just said, we sat down a month and a half ago, maybe.
October.
Wow, that long ago.
Right.
Time went by, but even
Yeah.
October.
Yeah.
I think end of October.
2 months. Yeah.
2 months, and like having you here today again.
It's
like,
a different person.
It's a different person. Speaking of energy, the energy reads different. Like you're much more, there's many.
I'm not tossed around.
You're not.
I feel tossed around.
I see, like you're centered, you're anchored in, you're calm. It's just like.
Well, it's, the things that I'm sharing with you now and what we'll get into is, I've been told about that multiple times previously, even before us chatting. It just finally like came to me, and I was just like, oh.
The timing just wasn't.
Yeah, and I'm like, if only it was like that like a year ago or 2. Like, you know, I can't think like that, but I'm just like.
It wasn't meant to be then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's taking your ego out of it and being like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
And then letting go of what I could have done previously that could have brought me to a different spot. It's like, no, just shut up. You're fine. Everything happened.
I think a lot of us.
Shut up. Shut up.
A lot of us get stuck in that space, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, what can you say? Like, what are some helpful ways? What are you doing these days to do that?
that's the thing too. It's like I'm not putting it out there, but maybe in a month from now I'm gonna be in the exact same spot with different things. You
Just
know?
accepting.
Yeah. Like the reason why I'm at this place so much is because I had my podcast too. Like I was having these kind of conversations with people and just like, not that I'm not vocal, but like I was able to have a space where I can just talk about those things. Like I can talk about it with people, but I'm not gonna be at like dinner having wine and be like, so like, you know, your past life today, like, you know. Yeah, like,
Those
it's not,
deeper
yeah, like you
conversations.
can, but it's just like, I don't even want to go out, have dinner and talk about that. Like I just want to like talk about stupid stuff and be like whatever, you know. So like yeah, I can give advice, but again, it's just like it's not like I'm at this point and I keep going up. It's just gonna be another wave of a different version of it.
Yeah.
You know. So
You are going up, but you're also going through these
yeah.
motions. Like the
I think the best sorry to cut you off, I think the best
Yeah.
way of doing that is just really sitting with yourself and being like, what do I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be business, it doesn't have to be whatever, it's just like, what do you want to do right now?
What do you want life
You know,
to be like?
yeah.
Right?
And it's just like, I've always wanted to do a podcast, let's just say, and it's like, I was just like, in the stump, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, I want to do a podcast, I want to have a studio. I'm like, okay, I have to erase everything in my brain, because I'm like, I can't. I think one person said to me, you're not going to be an expert pianist the first time, like you need to practice. So it's like, okay, as much as I'm getting great feedback from my podcast and it looks so professional, I don't think I'm at the level that I want to be at.
Definitely not.
You know? I'm happy it turned out the way it did, but I'm like, oh my
none of
god.
us.
But that was the thing too, letting go of what I wanted it to be and just like, this is what I have now. And this is what I'm gonna do. Even like financially, like I had such a hard financial year, so like wanting to do those things, I just said, I literally told myself, I'm like, what am I gonna do that I don't need to spend money? And whatever I produced was the zero cost.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like Daniel's podcast just came out and it looks amazing. Trust me, when people see from the outside, they go like, "You think this is your low version
But that's
of what
what
you
I'm
can
saying.
do?"
I'm also a little bit of a perfectionist in that way. But
Yeah, but you got past yourself and you were able to just go for
I
it.
just took whatever I was given.
Yeah,
I should have done. I wish I had this mindset at the beginning of the year.
it's okay. You got it now.
100%. But I'm just letting everyone know I would have
Yeah.
done way more things.
Yeah.
But I didn't. But I realized the reasons why I didn't. So.
And I think that's what the year was
Yeah.
meant to be, for you to actually learn these things along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Because had you not, you maybe would have accomplished more, but then something else would have brought you down, whatever, something could have occurred, and you wouldn't know how to deal with it, I think.
Yes.
And now you have the actionable steps, which is, I think,
Yeah.
really
I think
awesome.
we exist in a world where it's half action and half letting it be. So what I want to kind of, if we can, like go into this a little bit more.
Okay.
So I go to an astrologer. I'm really heavily into my numerology and life path stuff. It has helped me in the most amazing ways, and it's also held me back.
Held you back.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because again, I threw my ego into it. What I wanted to do, I didn't flow.
Mm.
So how numerology works is, certain numbers have certain energies, and the way that you can find your own number and energy is by adding up the numbers in your birth date. So I'm June 3rd, 1997. So the third, June is the 6th month.
Right.
I'm the third day, and then 1997. You add each number singularly until you get a number. If it's a double digit, you have to reduce it. So when I reduce my numbers, I get life path 8.
8?
8.
Okay.
So life path 8 is, there's different, obviously when you search it up, there's different explanations of it. I'm going to give you my take and also experience with it. It's about flow, power, and leadership.
Okay.
So the 8 on the side is a infinity. So I have to learn this lifetime to go through the flow, the ups and downs, and figure out how to just, when I'm down here, still be Daniel. When I'm up here, still be Daniel.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the scale, same thing.
Yeah.
That's challenging because once I get to a peak, I'm like, okay, I want to do this. I'm a planner. I want to get this done. And it's like, that's good, but when I get low, what's happening there? I don't do that. I get frustrated. I'm like, this, like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Do you just kind of like...
Not like less now, but it just,
You just want to like veg out, like be in bed?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little.
No?
I want to do something else. That's
Okay,
completely
just a
different.
shift.
Yes. I think what's been harder growing up is knowing that I have the free will to do what I want. So growing up till this point has been difficult because when I was a kid I would feel this way, but I had my schooling, I had my dance.
Yeah.
I felt like shit, but I still went in and did it.
Right.
It was until like grade 12 where I said I don't want to dance anymore. I'm not going to school. Like I still got a lot out of it,
Yeah.
but again, that whole ego and like I want to go this, like planning myself is what it's a nuanced thing. Like it's what's led me to sitting here with me and you, which is great, but like I still had a lot that I had to like, wow, okay, I fucked that up. I fucked this up. I'm great. I had to do this. It was part of my life plan, but I fucked up a lot of things.
And it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just that realization of like
Yeah.
that's just how my life and flow is.
Right.
You know? So taking an opportunity to do that has been helpful because I truly am my own individual person and I see things the way I want to see it. And I am curious. So having these conversations with other people that are maybe not looking for that higher level of spirituality, I didn't think I was looking for it, but like it was in me to look for that. I wasn't getting that and it wouldn't make sense here on my human experience, you know? So taking those concepts and be like, oh my god, I was right.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, fuck, I was right. I should have just stayed in dance a little bit longer. I should have just dated this girl a little bit longer. Like, you know, it's I can't go back to that, but it's just realizing that and what can I take from knowing that to what I do in the future.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh my god, like, and then it gets overwhelming because I'm like, what am I doing? Like every day I wake up, I'm like, what's going on? Like, should I do
What would
this?
you take away from now recognizing that and saying that you have this greater self-awareness and recognition of the way that you are? What would be helpful? What about like just like, would you take, if you took more time to consciously take breaks also in the midst of this, when you have that energy of surge?
The only reason why I'm having a hard time answering that, because yes, it's different for everybody, but it truly is different for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I have my astrology side. You know, you have, quickly to get into that, the big three is your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon.
Yeah.
So your rising sign is how you're perceived as to the world. So us sitting here today, me and you are our rising sign.
That's not when your birthday is, right? No.
Your sun sign is your birthday
Is
and
the
your
birthday.
personality, who you
Okay.
are. And then your moon sign is your emotions and who you are to yourself when like you close when you go to bed at night.
Yeah.
You know, so to add to the numerology of being 8, I'm a Leo rising, I'm a Gemini sun, and I'm a Taurus moon. So my experience is going to be different, obviously, but like it gets there's detail in the differences because if no one's familiar with Leos are the center of attention, this and that. I am a Leo rising, like I can see that. Part of me hated that about myself. I'm like, I'm not like that. But then I'm reflecting on my personality, being like, I'm a Gemini, like I don't care about that. I like people. So it conflicted a little bit. And then my moon sign is a Taurus. A Taurus is an earth sign. Very stability, stubborn. Dig your heels in when things aren't going good. So that's why it was throwing me off.
Yeah.
Especially in my 8-year cycle that I was going through because I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yes, I am being who I am, but to what extent is that helping me? And what extent is that not? And then taking your ego out of it is just like, you really get left like a blank canvas being like, I don't want to keep saying what the fuck, but what the fuck? Because you're like, I'm trying to do this, and it's just like, yeah, you're trying, stop trying.
There you go. That's cool though.
It's that, but again, it goes back to everyone has to go through flow.
That's exactly
But flow
it.
is different for everybody, and maybe you taking a day to do whatever you want, you'll get somewhere faster than I would.
Yeah.
And that's just how my life is going
But
to
for
be.
you, you're saying, yeah, it's not.
You know, so I can explain what to do, this and that, but it's just like, take that opportunity to search up your number, who you are, and just learn about yourself. Take it as you please, because like there's days where like I go to my astrologer, she says things, she's spot on, and other times I'm like, what's going on? That didn't make sense. That didn't happen. So it's like, it's not like I'm doing these things and I'm like, I can manifest everything, I can do all of this. It's like I'm doing all these things and I'm kind of actually understanding, but getting myself stuck on the way there, because I'm just like creating whatever I'm understanding of it, versus allowing what's being created, you know. So that's why I know it's hard for me to answer. I didn't really get to that too. It's hard for me to answer that for you and to anybody watching, because it's just like, I think it just goes back to you. Like even people like reading manifestation books and doing all this, it helped the person writing it. It's not gonna help you.
Yeah.
It's gonna give you. It's gonna maybe on a spiritual level open you up, but that's it.
Yeah. Start the journey. Maybe
Start the journey, which is great. I'm not saying don't read them, but like to take A, B, C, and D that this person's done, it's just like the person wrote that because they did that.
Yeah, it worked for them.
The coding for them was that book.
Yeah.
Your coding is completely different. There's gonna be some aspects of it, but that was the thing too. I was reading books and I was like I read The Secret.
Yeah.
I followed it to a T, and I was getting stuff, but I wasn't. And I was aware that I wasn't getting things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the fuck? Like, I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I'm doing A, B, and C, like, I was getting frustrated.
I think the fact that you, like, every step of the way in your life, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I think it's, like, such an amazing thing. Because, well, it's showing you that you are progressing in this inner journey of understanding yourself. But obviously, new things come up, and then you're like, okay, now what? Like, now I don't get this. But it's awesome, because how many people actually allow themselves that?
Look at themselves in the mirror and say, WTF.
So I think what you're
Just
saying
me.
there, probably not just you, but I think you're so right to speak to the fact that everybody can do these things, like what you're saying, but the journey
It's going to be different.
is going to be so different.
And, like, the way that you, not even how you create things and perceive it as, just the way that you lead yourself is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
You know, like, what was I going to say? Like, going back to the whole astrology thing, astrology ties in with past lives. So in my past life, I was a Leo. That's what your rising sign is. So how it works is when you're born in this lifetime, I'm born a Leo.
Yeah.
Till I'm on my deathbed, that last breath, I become a full Gemini, and that's when I'll get. That moment is when I'll understand what I was here to do, and that knowing that pisses me off, because I'm like, that's annoying.
Well, that's why you hear a lot of older people, you know, then they're like close to the end of their life, they're like, wow, like now I actually like know myself.
That's the whole energiness of
Coming whole.
astrology, because like you grow to your sign. That's why they say, a lot of people like here in Western astrology, the Western world, not astrology, Western world, it's all heavily put on your sun sign, but it's like, you're born as your rising.
Yeah.
Like the way that I'm sitting here and talking to you is a Leo. The way that you're sitting here talking to me is a Scorpio.
I know, right?
You know? So it's different.
Yeah.
And then obviously there was actually some points in my life where I was like hanging out with friends, and then I would go home like, wait, why did I do that? I would like question myself. I'm like, wait, why did I act that way? I'm not like not being myself, but like it was something that wasn't my personality sometimes. So I'm like, wait.
Something
Leo's the performer.
Yeah.
I'm being myself with you, obviously, but like to a certain extent, that's that Leo kicking of being like wanting to talk to you, caring about everybody.
It's nice to like accept different parts of yourself ultimately too. You don't have
you know what it is? Sorry to cut you off. It's a different language. That's the best way to describe astrology and numerology. What you just said is yes, exact same thing as what I just said. I just add way more context and words to it. You know what I mean? It's just like completely different language.
Yeah.
If you want to learn Spanish, go ahead.
And what you hear is what's relevant for you.
Yes.
Right? Like you can even read something, and both of us can read the same thing, and something will speak to me, and a totally different concept will speak to you.
Vision, what I see myself as, it's completely different. And it's just like, again, accepting that, but also being aware of like, there's reasons for that.
Exactly.
And again, go back to the whole language thing of like, it's just language at the end of the day, how you navigate.
Yeah. What about human design?
You showed me that recently. That's another.
I feel like you would really enjoy it just because knowing.
I think 100%.
Yeah.
I think it's just another language of understanding.
Well,
I think we did it once. I don't remember.
Maybe even after this we will. Did we?
One of them you did, yeah. The first time we recorded.
I feel like you just energetically, you're likely like A generator or a manifesting generator?
Manifesting.
Manifesting, yeah, because you're more like
I think it's 70% of the world. I think that's what it said.
Yeah, generators are like 7. I don't know. And the manifesting.
I know. I looked at it the other day and it said 70% of the world.
The percent doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Honestly, this doesn't make you like lower grade or higher grade.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I think the manifesting generators and the generators are seeding the world more because currently they are needed to transition the planet into the next wave of alignment. That's how I feel about it.
Okay.
I don't know if that's what they say, but likely they do say. Astrology is a part of human design. So it takes like 4 different strands or something, different things like that, spiritual, but also cosmic kind of connected realities, and puts them there. But for me, yeah, I think generators are just like here to also do things, so make the changes happen, right? Projectors are more of the kind of the teachers or the wordy ones. They kind of like help guide the process more through words, however that looks. And then the manifestors.
Intuitive teacher kind of. In a way.
Yeah. You'll feel their energy is very different. Yeah. Projectors, they're not like us. Like they're not us, and that's cool. So like you can accept that. Yeah. My husband's a manifester. Just a manifester. So he's one of the other ones.
So manifestor generator, is that what you said is me?
Manifesting generator, I think is you.
So what's the difference? Would you say I'm more so active?
You jump more from thing to thing.
Oh.
All my 4 kids are manifesting generators.
100%.
You get them all together.
I don't know.
No, it's not. Whereas like I would maybe also see myself as that one, but it says that I'm a generator, which means that I can at least like take something and really follow through with it.
You know, it's funny how you said generator. You both are.
Yeah.
I'm remembering our.
No, who both are?
You and Tom.
No, Tom's a manifester.
Oh, sorry, never mind.
Yeah, but you and I are in the generator clan. My 4 kids are manifesting generators, like you. Yeah.
But again, it's just a whole different. Yeah. It's just a language. It's just knowing about yourself.
But I also like that you said like we can't get tied into it either.
I was getting tied into it. So
and you found your way out, which is good.
I keep looking at the camera.
You.
Leo.
I'm telling
See.
But see, it's cool because you have that Leo aspect and you have like a Taurus, very different from Leo. And I think it's good to accept them.
But that was the thing too, recognizing that because growing up, I never felt. My personality is Gemini. So going up, I did like the attention of it, but it wasn't in a narcissistic way. It wasn't in a way like I need all eyes on me. I genuinely like. The thing of Gemini is we're people. We're all about people.
I see it. Anakin's the Gemini
Yeah,
too.
so we just like people. So like, I would go to people, but then the way I express myself, maybe someone would take it as like, why is this guy like acting like this? You know?
Too much.
Too much, but like not too much. Probably too much. Or whatever it was.
Yeah. You make them uncomfortable in some way.
Yeah. And I didn't like that because I'm a people person. I'm like, why is this? But I wouldn't know that because then some people aren't clear about that.
Yeah.
Would ignore me or just would act different. So then I would act different. And then I'm trying to figure it out. You know?
And then you have these like layers kind of like.
But then that's the adaptability of the Gemini being like, okay, this person's not doing this. Maybe don't say that. You know, it wasn't even, it's like subconscious stuff at the end of the day because I care about people. I want to like,
Yeah.
Yes, I care about people, but I want to meet with the person. I don't want to coddle them, but I want to meet with you halfway.
Yeah.
But I want that with everybody. Some people don't want that. And then I either take it offensively or I'm just like, oh, this person is actually not good for me, or it's just, they just don't have that in them.
But again, do you feel different now? If you were faced with the same issue, with somebody not really enjoying your energy in their space, how would you react now?
It's funny, I don't think I put myself in situations like that.
Okay. And do you think it's because of past experience?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Not just with people, but I think just where I'm at with myself, because I really dimmed down on like the going out and doing everything.
Yeah.
Also because I'm trying to figure out my community at the same time, so like it's been a little bit difficult, but
yeah.
I also have my Reiki. I have so much stuff. My goodness.
That's the thing. It's awesome to have all these tools, and I think that's what's like progressing you forward.
Thank you. Yes, that's what's helping me. It's been hard though because like the Reiki thing, I have my level 1, I have this whole new awareness of energy, but then I'm so aware of it
Yeah.
that the first time I had it and I was walking the world, it was like too much for me. I was like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
you have to learn your tools. You know,
Me
you go
too.
to university, you learn A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
And then you need the practical.
When you leave university,
Practice.
it's back to the start.
Yeah.
And then you have to, oh, I don't want to do A. We're not doing C today. We're cutting off Z because that was so stupid. We don't need that. You know, that it's just a whole other learning process, which is hard because then if you're like me, or it's like, okay, well, if I was given this to do, I'm going to apply it.
Yeah.
But then I noticed me not applying fully everything. I'm like, oh my god, am I doing it right? Am I not doing it right? That's what it was taken away from me.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to like figure out the level. It's kind of, you know, like an equalizer.
Yeah.
I have the frequencies. You need to figure out your frequency. Which one makes more sense? Which one you need to lift up? Which one you need to drop? Which one you need to get rid of because you don't need it.
But just talk, like hearing you talk about it, honestly, you sound like somebody that's just, it's amazing. You're going so deep in trying to like figure yourself out, and you're trying all these different things. Like, I think not enough people are doing that out there, and I think that says
It's hard
something.
though. I understand why they're not I understand why you're going out Friday nights instead. I get it. I understand.
But then life is also hard if you look back 40 years later and you
Yes.
go, oh my god, would you rather that? At the end of the day, no, you wouldn't. That's why you're going through this stuff now.
Some people are not meant to experience these things in this lifetime.
And you're right, and that is so
And that's
true
the hardest
to
pill to
remember.
swallow.
Yeah.
Especially if you have family around you.
Yes. I think during COVID, a lot of people
Friends.
faced that.
Yeah.
They were like really pushing, like, because they saw something,
Yeah.
and their family was like, no, what are you talking about? I don't feel the same way.
Yeah.
Right? So we went through that, and then I think that was a really good learning curve to be like, okay, we gotta back away and just like steer our own course. Because us steering our own course, the more of us individually can get there, we'll amplify this energy on Earth, cosmically, however we want to see it, and it will shift reality
Yeah.
in the direction we want it to, ultimately,
Absolutely.
right, for the better. But let's talk about what you're wearing too. We want to touch base on that because jack of all trades or what?
Sometimes.
No, all the time.
All the
because
time,
you
yeah.
constantly do something
I'm
else.
learning, to get a little bit off topic, I'm learning how to not be the jack of all the trades, but all the things that I'm capable of doing.
Yeah.
That's the part that I have to learn.
Yeah, the things that you like.
But I was trying to do so many
Yeah.
different things that I was like,
You're right.
wait, I'm getting thrown off. I learned something out of it for
Yeah.
sure, but let's be a little bit in the more creative field.
You're
Yeah, I
right.
started my own clothing brand. It's called Alta Potenza. Alta Potenza in Italian means high power. I wanted to say higher power, but that would be Alta Superiore. I like Potenza, so I just say, you know what, just high power. I did a bracket, ER, my explanation, but basically it's just bridging spirituality and streetwear. Because I find me as an individual, I like the whole human experience of the streetwear, but I also like the whole spiritual experience of like what we're here for. So basically the creation of this was just the beginning conversation of someone getting into spirituality.
So I love that. Everything you're doing links back to that. Like,
It goes back to me. It's a little bit the Leo kicking in, being like goes back to me, but like it.
no, but it should be about that. I
Yes.
think not enough people make their life about them.
Yeah.
Because then you share what you, you know, with the world, and people find themselves in that.
I'm gonna get off topic. I never understood why or where it came from that anytime when I talked about myself would be wrong. That's what my learning experience been, because what you just said goes back to you. I get a little bit uncomfortable being like, oh no, it's like there's,
I get that.
I don't know where in my life I was maybe told or experienced that like talking about you is selfish. Or maybe I experienced people, I don't know, but like when you say that,
Yeah.
I get slightly,
Yeah.
not that I want to, but like I'm just like, I
Well,
want to revert away from you saying it's about me, like it's not, I don't, you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
I think it is society. I think society has looked down upon that. Like, for somebody to be like, oh, well, I know who I am. I know what I'm about. Here I am. People go, ooh, like that's too much, right?
It's, you know what it is, because you actually experience people that are truly on the negative side of that. So
Yeah, but
that gets heightened to like, this
when
is
it's
what it
fake
is. Yeah,
showiness
100%.
and like, yeah.
I'm not like that, but
No.
I just, again, when you just said it's all about you, make it about me,
Yeah.
like there is some sort of discomfort there, I don't know.
No, I get that. I can see that too. I feel like I walked through that myself as well. And I think we're both kind of like in the stage where we're
being aware of it, being like, shut up. You're
No, because we see the realness and the beauty in that.
of just doing what we want.
Do what we want. It makes us happier. We're actually contributing to the world, and for other people to be able to, like I said, see themselves in our experiences. I think that's what I started to see through social media and content creation, which I never saw before until like 6 months ago. Like, wow, it's such a powerful tool to actually help people get to their self.
It's definitely an avenue to do that. But I think
but there's obviously
there's
the flip
two
side.
versions. There's flip sides of that. It's you looking at yourself, being like, oh, this is not working for me. This is working for me. And then the other side is
yes, you're growing through the
it's
process.
like, oh, I don't like this side, but I'm just gonna keep doing this because I love myself.
Yeah.
There's some narcissistic nature
Well,
to
no,
that.
I think that is when you don't know yourself.
But that's
that
what I'm
comes
saying.
through.
There's gonna be people that are never gonna know themselves.
And that's okay.
It's okay, but again, it's gonna exist. So it's just
gonna
like
exist, and that's okay. It
Yeah.
has to. Our whole world is built on polarity,
yes,
right? Black and white, like
yin and yang.
sun and moon. Yeah.
No, 100%.
Exactly, and I think it's us learning to be okay with that, to live in our truth to the fullest capacity that we can,
And not absorbing it.
and not absorbing it.
That's empath.
Yeah. Well, I think we all are. Like, I never call myself an empath, but when you're sensitive to energy and like
That's what it is.
yeah, that's all it is, and you're kind to people, you care about people, you know, we're all empaths at the end of the day if we allow ourselves to be.
Yeah.
Ultimately, right?
But yeah. Anyways, back to
Love it. That's right. Back to that. And I love it that you're Italian.
That's the Gemini. Yeah. It's funny because so what I want to say with this. Again, it's going back into like the whole it's just the start of that conversation.
Exactly.
I'm gonna share everything I believe in and stuff, but I don't need to be the person that needs to be the forefront to be like, no, you need to do astrology thing. No, it's like, this is what I do. This is a different lens that people could connect with to look through that. Because when they see Alta Potenza, it's like, oh, that's cool.
That's it. Streetwear,
What is it?
it's cool.
That moment, I want. That's all I want. Being like, what's Alta Potenza? And then I'm good to go. Oh, it means higher power, like spiritual. Are you into that, like numerology and stuff? And then I leave. That person figures out what they want to do with that.
Bingo. We're so on the same page. It's exactly what
Figure it
I
out.
desire. That's what I desire.
Yeah.
Well, like they'll figure it out, but like yeah, you could. I guess
Well,
I'm giving them a little more
relieve yourself from
breadcrumbs.
the responsibility of controlling that person's outcome.
Exactly.
Look at us. But
You're sharing with them the exact experience that you're going through yourself
Yes,
and learning.
and that's it.
That's it.
I thought I needed to do more. No. Ah, crazy. Just when I come up with an idea.
Yeah. How do you designs and stuff and like what?
So I've done all this myself. Like I found a font online. So this is how it was. I was working at a store.
Okay.
And it was called Walk-In, and I just hated the way it was running. I hated the clothes. I didn't hate it, but like just the designs of I just knew what to do different.
Yeah.
Always wanted my own clothing brand. I remember one of my exes, we were talking about doing something and it didn't happen, it pissed me off. But here we are, have my own now, makes sense. But just, I literally saw the note on my phone. It was November 28th, 2022 at 8:28 a.m. I was driving and the idea just popped up. And I just typed it on my phone. Left it. That was like 3 years ago now, but almost. So yeah, I left it. I came up with like I wanted HGHPWR, high power. Something about that. I wanted high power. But I'm like, okay, Alta Potenza is just different.
It is.
Like you don't hear that, whatever. I'm Italian, so I wanted to like incorporate that. It made it different because there's not a lot of like Italian names. I would say.
In Canada.
Yeah. And then like I remember the type of font I wanted. I literally wrote, I want futuristic cyber F1 style. And then like I went on the font site and because on certain font sites you can type in the words you want and then it shows a preview. So whatever I liked, I just screenshot it, kept it on my phone, and then I didn't look back at it. I always said like I wanted to do it, just like when, and then last year, so 2024, in February, I just got to a point where I'm just like, actually one of my friends wanted to start a clothing brand. And then I just got reminded of mine, and I was kind of like wanting to help them. Then I was like, wait, what?
Do your own thing.
Yeah, I'm like, how many times am I gonna keep trying to do things for other people that I want to do for myself? So I was like, I started going to St. Philip's, and I just bought my computer, and I was just looking at different fonts again, and I found this. I went on Photoshop. I don't know how to do Photoshop, so I just put it together. I literally just bought this font and spliced it in and connected it just to make it some sort of like personalized, more unique.
Yeah.
Got it registered because you need the font registered, and then I just started doing it. I found a manufacturer, I picked everything, and then I just launched it like a month later.
A month later?
Yeah.
That's amazing, Daniel. So you have this amazing quality to you?
If I plan, it takes me 7 months. If I don't plan,
just go into it.
this is what happens.
Yeah. I'm more like that too.
Yeah.
And I love it. That's when magic happens.
Yeah.
It's just like you're right in there.
I just took, like, obviously I didn't like neglect like quality and stuff or the way I wanted to be presented, but like again, you want to be here, you're over here.
Yeah.
What can you do now?
You gotta take those steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought taking what was now was like kind of mediocre. Like, no, you could do better. So
It would always
it would
feel
take
like
longer, but it's always gonna feel like that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, just do it. So yeah, I just started it, and here we are.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to. We need to. We'll have to get a collaboration going sometime
100%.
in the future.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Would you be down if we put like free range earthling?
Maybe we could do our own little.
Collab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Free range earth. Oh yeah.
Free range
unpasteurized. That's always so funny. But yeah, I did this. I liked what I did, but like the options I have are really high quality and stuff.
Okay.
Just this whole year, I was like, okay, like yeah, it's good quality, but what's the intention of it?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm thinking about it. But what's the intention of this? You're trying to connect people with numerology, spirituality.
Yeah.
What is this logo on a crew neck going to do for them? I can still have this, but like, what else am I providing for that experience? So now I'm looking into different designs that are on the numerology, on the astrology side.
Ooh, okay.
So it makes more sense versus just like, yeah, it's a cool sweater, yeah, talk about it. Sometimes you need to have a product that flat out just shows you what it is versus like being mysterious. You know, I like being mysterious, but
it's true, but you can just take it further, like what you're saying. What if everybody could like, I don't know if this is complicated in terms of like production wise, but you could like pick your number, and there's a certain, and then like it gets customized. But maybe that's tricky. You gotta.
We'll cut this out. But I'm doing. Don't include this. I'm doing numerology teas. So
You
like
are?
life path number. Yeah. I'm gonna do it in a few months. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, like stuff like that.
I love
just
that.
Having that. So yeah, just
So people can like pick and choose, right? Like obviously their number.
they can't design it themselves, but like they'll have the option to be
No,
like,
they'll have the number. Like,
well, that was the thing too with the site, because again, like, what is this company for?
exactly.
Now I have
Now
three.
your deeper meanings coming
Yes,
together.
like I
with
have three.
pieces.
I don't know why. Like I was editing videos of the podcast and like doing this at the same time. It was just like work mode these last 3 weeks. I created 3 pages for my website that talks about numerology, astrology, and life path, and like how to calculate. I'm like, okay, no, this can be more of a hub in a way. You know, like I don't need, because like I did have the tools to be like, okay, go to this website, but I'm like,
no, link it
use my
over to
website,
Mm-hmm.
do what you need to do.
Okay, I love that, Dan. Now you got like the whole picture together.
Yeah,
So
but it took me so long to get there
It's
because
okay.
I was, no, it's okay, but I'm saying it took me so long to get there, even though technically this all was birthed 2022, you know? Even the podcast, that's when I wanted to do it. I remember doing like a poll, being like, should I do a podcast? And everyone said yes.
To be honest, my Earthlings idea also started in 2022.
Yeah.
It's just now coming to fruition too.
It's just, you know what it is, taking that idea and concept of starting something as a thought and letting it go.
Letting it go.
With every single thing in your life. That's the hard part.
But you're right, but then once the energy is already injected into your environment.
It's the life of an entrepreneur too. Just like, you know, I was talking with somebody and she's an entrepreneur on my podcast, and she was just saying, I'm like, how do you balance life and work? And she's like, honestly, it's not a balance, it's an integration. Like, I need to integrate everything in, you know? And it's like,
it feels more natural too to actually live life where everything is interconnected. Your work is interconnected. Your friends are your community that's maybe part of your work. Like, the more I realize.
especially if it has meaning.
Exactly.
Like,
It
this
has to have meaning.
This has more purpose, and it's also like what I'm leading myself in. So it's like, if the flip side of that though is like still having that separation of like Alta Potenza and Daniel. It's still the same thing, but we're still two separate things.
Yes.
Because then you can get tossed into like, oh, this is not perfect, this is not, which I was like a few months ago. Be like, oh, I'm not getting enough sales, this and that. Like, that's the separation you need, but like integrating, being like I'm not wearing this and saying this and then smoking J's and like, you know, fucking around on the side. Like, no, like I live a life this way, you know?
Yeah.
And it reflects in my work.
And I think the more in it you live or whatever, however, the more you embody that quality, the more fruitious the work will become.
It's a mirror.
It's a
coming
mirror
back to
of
yourself,
your reality.
and you can see things that you haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
I honestly think the future of like the way work and career is going is that for everyone to ultimately become their own entrepreneur, but entrepreneur of their like soul.
Yes.
Like now they're living.
The thing is too, it's again what you just said, entrepreneur of your soul. It doesn't have to be a human tangible thing of being an entrepreneur.
No.
Like if you're sitting down in the office working and you're completely content with your life, that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
If you're not and you're on the fence being like what, or you haven't woken up to that, that's a different story. But like if you're truly content with just being that person of going, I think that's a hard part too. Sorry to like go off track.
Oh yeah.
It's been so focused about the entrepreneur life and the influencer. It's those people that are doing that and
or
projecting that. You're good at it, yes, but you
You're
need to tone it down to a point where it's like, yes, you like doing that. That's what you want to do. People don't care sometimes.
Yeah, it's not everybody's.
You know? And then obviously that's a whole
reality.
different realm, but it's just like, again, just going back to who you are. Just focus on yourself, you know?
Yeah, because even if it's not about like influencing, and it's, here's the thing, right? The influencing stuff happened, and many of them were like, again, just like false promises, like fake. Like it's just people just like trying to sell you stuff. But now if you really embody your true nature and you're like getting
it's more like lifestyle who you are now.
Exactly.
I would say. Which in a way it's cool, in other ways it's like, okay, you can kind of see people for who they are and then you take it as you go. But again, I think that's just the whole where we're going at as a collective, just
I
like
think so.
the mask is being taken off, so to speak.
And then people will find their grouping. If this works for you, this kind of fake facade, then these are your people. And if you want to be more truthful and go dive deeper, then this is your community.
100%.
And it's going to make it that much easier to find people you really resonate and connect with too.
The only thing with online stuff, the saying is actions speak louder than words. You can have someone that is an influencer and is doing all those things, and you can go to meet them and their energy is completely different.
Well, that's when it's,
And it's like, I think me just saying that just goes again, just going back to who you are and just being you. And like, yes, it's I think the influencer space has opened up your possibility to be what you want to be. But again, there's still some humanness to it versus the spirituality side to it. Because yes, like, well, I'm doing this to some sort of extent, this is what my spirit and soul is telling me to do, but also my ego is thrown in there to do it. You know, it's a mix of both, so it's kind of just like, take it for what it is. I never take anything with a grain of salt, and I need to learn how to do that, but that saying is so significant because you need to do it like that. If you don't, it's like too much. You can get tossed in different directions, but the grain of salt is so important.
I think also though, I think you're right, but I'm very much like that too. I don't really take things with too much salt.
You don't take it with too much salt.
Like what you like. I don't. If I sense that somebody's a little bit off,
you don't jump the gun and be like, "Oh, this person's not for me," or they need help, or you do.
I used to give them more of a chance.
Oh, okay.
But I think now I just see it more clearly, and I just know that it's not me taking things with a grain of salt, but it's more like I just see them more clearly, and they're not for me.
Yes.
So then I just go the other way. But I also don't try to change any aspect of myself. To cater to anybody or please anybody. Absolutely. Because I think the more we live in our true alignment, again, the less hard and difficult, like the less that we're gonna have to navigate it or be like, okay, this person's not for me, or like
Yeah.
this is gonna, it's not gonna pull you into those places, I think.
But the thing is that two things can exist at the same time. This person's not right for me, but then go back to the past life. What am I? What is?
There's always
what
gonna be
don't I like?
lessons.
What don't I like about this? What are I forgiving myself for that I've done previously?
Right, exactly. And those lessons are
And
valid.
it's like,
Life's not meant to be just like sunshine and rainbows. It's
Yeah.
never going to be. Not for
I would
anybody.
love that. I would love that.
But I think that's the thing to accept, is that like it's just not meant to be that on
Seasons
planet
are
Earth.
important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're here to learn and
Yeah.
grow, and those hard moments help us grow.
I think just focus on yourself.
Just focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And
And do what
then-
you need to do.
And I love that all of these things are coming together for you, like full circle.
Slowly but surely.
But surely, I'm always gonna be the one like, yes, Daniel,
Yeah.
but they're there.
And then I don't want to do this anymore.
You just come back, you just like call me, and we'll be like, hey,
Yeah,
let's have a quick chat, and we'll get you
Absolutely.
all lined up.
But
Yeah.
yeah, just again, just
I love that.
taking that harshness off of yourself, looking at yourself for who you are, but what you are
Mm,
at face value, sometimes subjectively too, and being like, okay,
yeah.
this is what I'm working with, where am I going from here? You know, bluntly speaking, you know, like this is what it is for me, this is who I am,
Yeah.
and just again go back to the equalizer, being like, okay, don't be so fixated on fixing it. Have the awareness of it and the intention of doing better in those aspects, and let the universe do what they need to do with it.
Mm, yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like me. If I'm meeting two people and they're both annoying me in a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
I can't act the same way with both of them. My relationship with them is gonna create something else different that's from this person. You know, and even if they're the same person, sometimes people are the exact same.
Yeah.
They're different, but they're the exact same, and I like this person more than that one for some sort of reason.
Hmm.
You know, and that's a weird thing too. 'Cause
Well,
you're
just like you said, like they're very similar, but there's still some difference that
Yes.
exists, right?
it's learning how to realize that there's a lens on you.
Yeah.
You know, again, I'm in my 20s, ending soon, but that's the whole thing, because
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to astrology. I'm a Leo. I need to learn how to become a Gemini, so like I can take the Leo qualities that I have when I was born and come up, but I already mastered that energy of being a Leo.
Mm-hmm.
I can still be all of that,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna hit a ceiling all the time. I need to be the Gemini now. So it's like, take whatever qualities that help me or help other people
Yeah.
and create that into my personality of what a Gemini is going to be.
Yeah.
You know, and again, the 20s is about that, understanding that. Saturn returns, I don't know if you know that, like, you know, it's just like getting back to you and being like, okay, starting fresh again.
Yeah.
But like fresh, not on a ego level, fresh on an ego and a spiritual level. Oh, this is who I am.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah. And you talking about, you know, the 20s. I think that's really relevant as well, because we are told at like 18, this is it. You're the adult. Start this life journey. Like, know what you need to know. But really, like from my own experience too, the 20s are really where you get to really know yourself. And know what you like, what you don't like, and then you hit the mark.
Well, you
of
have the
30.
capacity in your brain to make what is given to you.
Yeah.
Because yes, it's our 20s, but also like you just lived 20 years of your life being a certain way. You're an adult now. Like, I know some people are different with their experiences and how much they're able to do stuff versus not, but like you truly have a capacity to actually look at yourself now, and it's just like wherever you're developing yourself as spiritually or whatever, it's either you look at yourself and you're like, okay, whoa, I don't like this, or like, okay, I like this, but what's needs to be fixed here.
But I think as you enter the 30s is more like where you're like, okay, now I have a clear idea of like who I am, and like what you said, maybe things that I need to work on, but like the clarity is there. But the 20s, it's like an adult kid. Almost, you know, like you're an adult, but you're still figuring things out.
Yeah. I'm gonna say a hard part, but like just the generalness of that is like when you look at a group of 20-year-olds, the spectrum's gonna be so different, which is hard.
But even myself, for example, at 18, I was like, I seemed really mature. Like I mean, as a kid, like I knew myself really well. And even then, even like becoming a mother early on and it's still that experience, like it went so much deeper than I could have imagined.
Yeah.
And it's only like now that, so I think it's actually exciting for you to kind of feel that in a couple more years,
Yeah.
the energy that you're feeling now, this like, the solidity or this, you know, self-assuredness is just gonna like amplify that much more, and it's gonna kind of really anchor in.
Even like me experiencing that and understanding that, there's like so many things I wanted to do growing up. I still want to do them. I finally actually understood why it hasn't happened. Not the exact reason why, but the reason why I wouldn't have been able to do that physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Yeah.
There's like things I wanted to do, and I actually sat with it like, oh my god, like if I was given this right now, I would struggle so much, or I just would be so negative, I wouldn't even consider it in the future.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of, in a way, I'm kind of thankful that a lot of the things that I wanted in life haven't happened yet.
That's why they haven't.
Yeah, exactly. What I'm getting to that realization now.
No, but I love that. No, I'm not saying, I'm not denying that.
No,
I love that.
I'm just like.
Yeah.
But it's great because I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah,
It
we can't
slows
like have
me
it
down.
happen all at once. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that
Right?
sometimes.
Yeah, but you have your whole life. I've had those thoughts before too, and I'm like, well, if you get it all done, I'm like, dude,
Then what?
then what? We're gonna sit around on the beach? Like,
Exactly.
no.
Yeah, I am. I know I keep talking about the astrology, but it's so interesting how everything correlates and happens, because like what I just said about learning things now, and I wouldn't be where I'm at. I think I talked about this with you before. There's a certain phase of the moon.
Yeah.
I was born under.
I think
So it's the last one.
The waning.
Balsamic moon.
Balsamic moon. Okay, yeah.
Waning.
Waning.
I don't know.
I know. Right?
It's the last phase before it goes to new moon.
So
that's about conclusion, finishing up, patience, waiting to go.
Yeah.
So anytime that phase of the moon comes back around for me, I get
every month.
Every month, yeah. So every month, well, the moon cycles, right? I get it's hard. That energy's hard for me a little bit, because when I'm trying to do stuff, it's setting back into like my natal chart. So that natal chart of being in the.
It wants you to take that time.
Yes. If I don't do that, then I get really tossed up, because I'm not working with that energy, and it's heightened at that moment, because that's the energy I was born at. So whatever energy you're born at, if you hit that thing, and if you're not resonating or being on that level with it, it throws
I
you
didn't
off.
realize that. I need to look into like my
So anytime that
time.
happens, like I feel it's like 2 days before and then 2 days after, kind of. Just I start feeling that.
I still love that you're tuning into that and are aware of it, because again, there's all this talk about females and the cycle these days, you know, and people are actually recognizing, oh, this is the week or a few days that I need to take more rest or
It should
whatever.
be 13 months, 28 days each.
Yeah, but men, you don't really hear men also, you know, tuning into what they
I'm very
need.
in tune to both sides of female, masculine and female, so I feel it. But yeah, just anytime that phase. So what that reflects into my chart and who I am, and I'm not saying this as like this person said this to me and I believe it.
No.
I've been experiencing it, and it's clear to me after she said it. She's like, anytime you get to do something, you're gonna feel like you're not getting there yet. You just missed it.
And you do, and you have that.
And then she's like, but the good thing about that is you keep going.
Yeah.
So, but then it just, again, everything connects. I'm a Gemini. I want to do things quickly. When I think things way faster than what happens. So my brain's quick. If I were to act the way I would, and I was able to get everything I want, I would probably just be like, not to sound dark, but I would be like, hey, like I'm done with this life. Like, why am I here still?
Yeah.
You know, so there's a reason for that. And again, it's funny because it's just all my character and personality. Like, I want to do different things. I need to learn how to stay in one lane and keep going and grow with it. That's the learning lesson of learning about the moon. But again, it's giving me that opportunity to like take a break and let it grow, knowing that like I'm gonna always work towards something and I'm not gonna get it 100%. Instead of why?
And being okay, maybe
yes, being okay
that,
with
like,
it, accepting it, be like,
I'm
like, oh my god, I'm not almost there, but it's gonna happen again in 28 days. So
and you already
just
know.
keep going.
Exactly, I love that. You have that.
It's just a whole other language, but it's also
It's a tool though.
all the planets are energy. Like we're all energy. So you personally, I'm connecting with my body, so I feel that.
Yeah.
It's not like she's saying that to me, and I'm like, okay, the 28 days.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's
I mean, it's not external. It's really so much internal that then it's more so internal actually than it is external.
But that's the embodiment piece too. What you're saying there, like you tuning into what your body is feeling, that you're grounding yourself. You're bringing that high up, whatever spiritual kind of energy that's there.
Yeah.
And it's coming together for you. And like
it's spiritual, but it's also kind of like
earthly.
Yeah, like scientific in a way. It's not like I'm just running with like whatever I'm feeling. It's like there's reasons why you're feeling this.
Totally, because
like,
spirituality, it's not just fluffy fluff, whatever, right? It is. It's like you're talking about planets, planetary movement. Like that's been there for. People wrote about it.
The tides, wherever the tides are with
ago.
the moon, they rise and go. Okay, so what do you think that's doing to our bodies?
Exactly.
What do you think that's? How is that? You know what I mean? Like what's going on here? So it's been helpful to like. Again, it's a lot of information. Like if you're like me in the sense where like you think things really quickly and you're very curious, I can sit on my computer and I'm like reading something and all of a sudden I'm just looking at words, nothing's processing because I'm just like, oh, I can't do this anymore. It's overwhelming. But it just makes so much sense. So like just getting into that even was like, whoa, you know? I did jump the gun with that, being like, okay, like this day, this was gonna happen, and like I was putting my ego into it, and like expecting and trying to create my world versus like things happen on this day, but there's a spectrum of it. Some days are gonna be more, some days are gonna be less, you know.
And speaking of that, I totally forgot to mention that we were talking about like manifestation and just like expecting, even when you like wrote down your desires, you made your little picture collage. It doesn't quite work like that, and I think people are missing the line because the way to open yourself up to expansion of energy and to manifest things, first and foremost, is to look at yourself so objectively. You're doing these blocks that are in our system, those need to be like dealt with.
Yes.
With each dealing and release of that, you're now expanding yourself, and now all this desire and energy that you have flowing through you is just gonna naturally like take course.
I think a different perspective to look at manifestation and like, you know, writing down,
with obviously with some action.
Yes, with some action, but I think a different way to look at it for anybody, think of manifestation as you're just tuning into your future. You're not creating your future, you're tuning in.
Yeah, you're already seeing yourself there.
You see it there. Okay, so if you already see yourself there, why are you putting photos on the wall?
Yeah.
You're turning that into a fear thing.
Yeah.
That fear is doing what? Blocking you.
Right. Some
and then
unconsciously.
so you're blocking yourself, and then when it doesn't happen, you're trying to go to the next thing. Also, like not to get what's the word? What's the word called? Oh my god. This is what I've been talking so good. I'm like, fuck, I'm forgetting something now. What's the word when they, I don't want to get into like conspiracy land, but there's a reason why manifestation books are all out there, techniques. There's a reason why it's there like that. Do your research.
It's true, it's kind of holding people back.
Another reason why we have 12 months and not 13 months.
And again, there's...
Keep going.
Where we can just like, there's like...
We're adding 20 minutes.
No, but like they say there's the real calendar starts like March 21st.
Well, that's
I forget what
April's the first month. Well,
but human design, they say actually it starts on January 21st or 22nd, depending on the year.
But what is it basing it off of?
Because the human design stuff is based on astrology stuff, like it's.
But what astrology?
I know, I forgot what it was. I have somebody coming in actually. On Thursday, speaking to the song.
That's cool. But even like, November.
Yeah.
Nove, 9.
Yeah. Yeah, 9.
November's the 9th month.
Not 8.
October, Oct. You know what I mean? Like September.
Yeah.
Even like the days of the week.
Yeah.
Monday is Moon Day. Tuesday, I'm blanking.
I haven't looked in so long, but I'm with you. I remember.
Wednesday is the god. Ode. Weds, Ode. Thursday is... I'm forgetting, oh my god.
Oh, but people can look this up, but you're right. Like
Friday is Andre, Venus Day.
Yeah.
Saturday, Saturn Day. They say don't get married on Saturdays.
Most people
And
probably
Sunday
do.
is sun.
Yeah.
And not to keep going, but like the three religions.
Yeah.
Sunday is
The religious day.
of Catholic, Christian,
Yeah.
Son of God.
Uh-huh.
Saturday is the Jewish holiday,
Yeah.
all about returning, getting back what you're given.
Yeah.
Vendredi is Venus Day, it's all about love. Muslim faith,
It's Fridays?
all about women.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to sound like it, but that's why in their law they have multiple women that they're able to
What do you
marry.
mean? Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So there's
yeah.
truth to it.
Yeah.
All these religions use astrology, like even
They do.
the Vatican they have a big, what is that, a telescope? Why do you have a telescope? Why do you need one?
The Vatican is a whole
Yeah,
conversation.
but
in
it's
itself,
just,
you're right.
it's the awareness of like, you can take whatever I said to you today and we talk about it and apply it. And it's not like it's a new thing, it's used, like people are aware of it. Even like the numerology thing, like it's...
But it's also go beyond what you know of it, what you've been taught about it. Now dig deeper and find the truth for yourself.
Yes.
Ultimately, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that you look at it and take it in is different from me, like we said earlier. So like we could be explaining two different things that are the same and they both make sense, but they're different.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So this is a year 9 too.
Yes.
Universal.
Yeah.
So it's all about like endings and like...
But how many numbers are there? There's 9. 9's the last
There's
one.
9, but then there's master numbers, 11,
Yes.
22, and 32.
But it's not part of the year thing, right? Or
I'm
kind
not
of
quite
plays
too
into
sure.
it?
I haven't really looked into that, but I don't think so.
Okay. It feels like a really potent year. Let's just say that. 2025 feels like completion of something. It really has that energy. Culmination of something. It's like amazing things I think are going to be birthed and just like experienced.
And you know what? Sorry
This
to
year.
be a little bit on that topic. It's
Yeah.
funny how everything correlates with each other because when I was going to my Reiki girl, she would always tell me, it's like, you really... She told me, you feel the world heavily. Like whatever's happening with the whole world, you do feel that on a certain level.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my universal personal year and my personal year and the universal year is the same number.
Okay.
So
you have to show me how
I'm
to
a like
calculate
path
that.
8, but the year that I was in last year
Yeah.
is the same as the year that the whole world was in, so it's an 8.
Okay.
So taking that made sense because like it's just a way that I looked at it. I'm like, okay, 2 plus 2 equals 4.
Yeah.
Because she just said, I feel the whole world. I'm like, what do you mean? And then, okay, well, if I look at my life path number or my universal year energy,
Yeah.
it's aligned with the earth. So kind of just like wherever the earth is at, I kind of feel that at the same time.
So interesting.
So interesting.
I want to find mine out now.
It's just, but again, taking that, like what I just said, I thought about that, but like actually like piecing it together for yourself, being like,
exactly.
there's truth in what she said, but there's also truth here.
Yeah. And you're gonna have to try that a high session because I like my last one, like I said.
Oh, I thought you said high session.
I know, I know, it's funny.
Not
It's a
anymore.
high. Apparently, we just channeled down in 2021. It's like Reiki, kind of like, well, not Reiki, but it's another form of energy form, but it works at these higher dimensions. And my experience was really potent and powerful, like physically in my body, what I felt through the session.
So you just connect. What's the?
Yes, and
what does it give you? Sorry, or what did you get?
Whatever your intention would be, I guess. Whatever you're desiring from it. And what she had also, because like I said what I had felt through the experience and seen whatever, and then the practitioner also, if she got some downloads and whatnot, she took notes. And she said in my case, she was like, I've never seen this before, which is really cool. But so she felt like my different soul, like my soul, and
Your
it's
past lives?
not past lives, my literal soul, but its existence in the different dimensions. I was somehow.
Even that's a concept that drives me crazy, but I get it.
But I mean, like maybe that's not gonna come through for you. But I think she said basically I was able to bring all of them together, and like keep them alive here right now, and that's why it's giving me this like again, really
boost of energy.
And like my experience to be just so sure of what my experience is, I guess. Because
do you think that will give you added stuff though to feel? Like you had the boost of energy, you're saying all of it's coming together, but your souls all experience different things. So do you think that you're adding more to your plate?
I I think maybe adding a lot of
Not that you can't handle
much
it.
like what you're saying. No, so I can
Yeah.
really relate to what you're saying in that my whole life I felt a lot of experiences and a lot of like creative drives and the desire, like fashion, like I wanted to be a fashion designer and a singer at one point, and then this and that, so the performance and that, like, so I can so relate.
Yeah.
And it's cool that we're coming together and sitting down like this, because like I don't know if I've sat with somebody else like that.
Aligned.
But like, yeah, so I think when you're given that ability to feel so much, like you're ready for it. You know, we have the capacity
Yeah.
for it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be. Or if not, then maybe we would like drive ourselves, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Insane or.
Well, it's like going to school, like I said earlier. You go to school for the 4 years, then after that you have to relearn everything. So you're
Yeah.
at that point, but you're gonna still have to relearn all this new knowledge and energy that you just received. It's always a learning experience.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I want everything quick and fast. Well, like the universe
Oh.
held me by the throat down and said no. I'm still gonna be like that though. It's not good. That's the thing too. You have to work with your energy. Me saying all these things and the different perspectives, my default setting is what has gotten me to these moments. So it's just like I'm always gonna be my default. It's just like recognizing when I'm in my default and being like, oh, okay, no, it's not gonna work like that today.
That's it. That's all you can ask for. I'm so
Thanks.
grateful that we
I
got
know.
this
I'm
moment.
happy it's came out this way than the other way.
Yeah, and so everybody should check out a Link Dan's podcast.
The Moody Gemini. Where should I look? The Moody.
That might, we don't know if that one's running anymore.
The Moody Gemini pod.
Yes.
Instagram and YouTube, and then this is Alta
Alta
Potenza, and yeah.
And all the other goodness that he's gonna be, I'm sure by the time in another couple months is gonna be that much
something new.
more.
On the same wave, but something new.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you.